Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Dice Cult for episode 175 of On the Backs of Gods. I'm your DM, Jillian, and we have our players here today. Same as always, we have Kyle, Matt, Katie, Josh, and Greg. I'll go ahead and jump right into a recap so we can get started. And actually, real quick, before we jump into that recap, haha, jump scare.
Ha-ho!
No recap here.
Ho-ho!
I just want to go ahead and give a content warning for this session. Uh, we are going to be veering into topics of self-harm, which also can be interpreted as topics of suicide. I will alert you when we get to this topic. I promise that it is, not the shebang, not the big shebang of it all, but it is close enough that I thought there should be a warning for the topic in general, and I will remind you again when we get closer to that topic. Thank you, and now I'll jump into my recap. Last session was an in-game time of about 7 to 8 minutes. Russ woke up that morning and the woods decided that he's choosing violence. Russ woke up fully corrupted by the forest and made the choice to flee and try and make a deal with the hag for getting rid of Nyx's curse. That he was willing to trade his life to fix the ice that was slowly consuming Nyx. Who knows if the hag was there to hear or not, but she is the entirety of the brushwood, perhaps, so maybe. Russ is fast, and boy, was he running. Keld was able to slow him a bit by affecting the foliage, to which then Russ took to the trees, and everybody followed in pursuit, except for Keld, who made the choice of, I'm never going to catch up, and I'd rather have my armor on. So Keld stayed behind and has to spend 10 minutes donning his armor. And that is what Keld was doing last session. Is he finished? Who's to say? We'll learn in a minute if he actually got to finish putting his armor on. The party follows Russ, and after a lot of hold persons and a lot of trying to persuade, eventually a tree is opened, and it was pretty close that Russ almost went through that tree and the problem was solved. But the final dice on that decided that it was an Uno reverse moment. And instead of Fen tripping Russ through the tree, Russ pushes Fen through the tree, stuns him, and then goes back. And then it's just him and Nyx after Nyx fails to push Russ through the tree and just jumps on his back. To which it kind of makes Russ a bit docile, as it's now only Nyx, and he continues to look for the hag and seems delirious. And throughout this time, smoke is just billowing from his mouth, this smoke that seems to be rebelling against the current actions. And as he makes his way, this man goes about goes almost 2 whole miles like a monster in this very small amount of time. Fen is sent through the tree, which alerts Nana, the community, and Roshan, who all prepare themselves to go back through the tree at some point, as Nyx has one more use of opening the tree left. And also Keld is putting on his armor. So anyways, Nyx opens a tree, and I really want to start this session by describing this moment. As Russ is walking, and by walking, I mean this man is at least fully booking it through the woods as he's moving quite quickly, carrying Nyx on his back. The illumination of the tree opening catches his attention, and instead of engaging, he starts to move. Though he does not catch it quick enough to get very far from the tree, starts about 50 feet, as Nana enters into the space and dashes in front of him, catching his attention. He looks to her, and a kind of mirroring of the duel that they once had, and he reminds her that she knows how this goes. And as he says, you know how this goes. A grappling hook grabs into his shoulder and yanks him back a solid 30 feet, thrown by Fen as he yells pull, as the members of Dem Woods who were able to gather in time begin to pull on the rope of the grappling hook, dragging
with a
Russ
natural
back.
20.
Yeah.
It need be said, with a natural 20
Was a
on
natural
behalf
20.
of the townsfolk.
Pull him back 30 feet. Nyx also, I believe, flying 30 feet then. To which Roshan, now with this guy in range, Roshan comes through, and after many failed polymorphs of the night, uses polymorph to turn Russ into a snail. And Nyx is able to avoid falling on him and catches the grappling hook before it crushes the snail. And Roshan picks it up, from which Nyx takes the snail, leaves her ring, and she steps through the tree with Russ. And the light begins to shimmer and fade as the tree claws itself closed. And that is where we are going to start, is with Nyx, surrounded by a handful of Dem community members, holding a snail that is like slowly smoking. Just a little smoky snail.
Is he also trying to escape as a snail?
Oh, yeah, you have your hand flat and he's just like fully just like trying to slide off of your hand and move
Right.
forward.
So to keep doing the thing where you put the hand in front of
Yeah.
it.
This snail thinks it is making progress. It is not, though. The community looks to you, your mother and father kind of step forward and are, you can see they're very excited to see you and also confused.
Right. She's gonna look straight to her dad because he went in these woods. He has fully lost it and is trying to run into these woods and make it. I think we need to put him, maybe both of us, in the solitary room for a bit, maybe reinforce it.
And he kind of like takes it in and like looks at the snail, and you see like, he just woke up. When you look at your father, he does look very tired. You can see that he looks incredibly tired. And he like nods and he's like, follow me. Let's go. Right this way. Let's anything you guys have stored in the reflection room, please take it out. And you hear somebody go, like just a solid sigh from somebody who had been storing something in that room.
They were using it as a shed, I know it.
You arrive at a pretty small, kind of sturdy, kind of shed of a place. You know that this is the reflection room used for solo reflection or prayer. You do remember one time when you were younger, there was a community member who got very, very intoxicated, was being a bit of a pain, was asked very politely to go to the room, which he did, and came out the next day just fine, as he just needed some time to get through that. The room has not really been used since, to the best of your knowledge. It's not like there's a lot of people in Dem Woods that need solo reflection time. It's a pretty sturdy setup, but you do glance at the snail in your hands and are like,
I know this guy.
But you see somebody carrying a couple boxes out, and the reflection room is available to you. And is there anything we should get you or leave with the snail?
Maybe we should put some food in here. I don't know if he's gonna be able to come out of here for a couple days.
No salt, please.
Just line it with salt.
How do I get out? Your father nods and he sort of delegates to get people to go get some rations for a couple days, and kind of does a little more than a couple, because he's like, all right, if you think two, I'll prepare for four, So there's a satchel of supplies put into the room. Is there anything else?
I don't know if we could like the outside, where he's gonna try to break it. Like, definitely going to try to get out through the door. I don't know. Maybe is there enough pickle barrels to just surround the place? Like, I can get out on my own without us opening it. So
You do hear some groans from people that do not want to carry pickle boxes. You recognize the groans from Scala and the Coddler, who have come to see what's going on. But your father nods, and once again, people are rallied to go gather barrels to try and set up, mostly at the door, but in a couple spots around the perimeter, just for safety. I mean, it is a solid wooden room, but just in case.
It's necessary, probably.
Russ is a bit of a beast.
Yeah.
Speaking from personal experience.
I'm gonna try to calm him down, but I don't know if it'll work based off of what I just saw.
Are you sure you should be in there with him then?
Somebody's gotta, at least I have to try. I can leave.
Someone has to bring him out of his shell.
If you had an inspiration, take it away. Take it away. Your father nods. Your mother approaches you, the ladle. Your grandmother set this up a while ago, but I worry it would make it difficult for you to leave then. There is a way for me to ward the space that could keep somebody in, but I'm not sure if you could leave magically then either. And if I bring down the ward, then anybody inside could then leave if they wanted. But it will take a while to get the ward up.
I don't think I'll stay in. If I can't help him, I won't stay in long after he's back. So we
Okay.
could put it up after.
All right. I'll get started on it and then finish when you come out. Okay. We'll have somebody outside keeping an eye just in case.
Um, I realize just none of us. I don't have anything. Okay, it's fine. I have my sickle. Okay, I'm gonna go in there.
Okay. And before you go, you are just immediately like, it's been a few days. Your parents hug you, and you kind of are holding a snail up.
With an ice hand.
Yes, an icy hand with a snail in it. And they let you go, and you step into the reflection room. The door is closed and locked behind you. You do hear the scrape of barrels being moved and put into place. Hopefully that is enough. Maybe being out of the woods is enough, but there's only one way to find out. Is there anything you do during this time while Russ is a snail?
Keep putting him in the middle of the room.
All right. You just kind of let him crawl for a bit, and then we'll pick him up and put him back. And the thing is, you realize even as a snail, like, he can't get out of this room. Like, if he was a slug, maybe he could like figure it out, but the shell is really a problem for escaping. But it is easier to keep an eye on him when you keep putting him back in place. And time begins to pass. Meanwhile, in the woods, currently everybody else is in the woods now. Fen, Nana, and Roshan are in the same space together. Keld is a good solid in the woods, a good distance away from the rest, so is split by himself. Here is my question as we enter the space. Keld, just so you know, you have about 3 minutes left of putting on armor.
Oh no.
We are out of
Buddy.
initiative, so it's not as, damning, but you still have
Yeah.
3 minutes left. So I think my focus does have to turn to the other group as all of you watch the light from the tree fade, and you feel the overwhelming energy of the forest. It becomes apparent the second that like your adrenaline dies down. You are no longer actively seeking to this combat with Russ. You are now very aware of the force that is being put upon you. It is currently the worst that it has ever felt. It is as if the energy you were sitting in, Fen, minutes ago, amplified by 2, amplified by 3. It is swimming through this oppressive energy. And you can only hope it is because you have reached the apex of it. You have to pray you have reached the apex of it. You don't know if you could handle anything more. It is sickening and it is visceral, and I need all of you to make wisdom saving throws.
Fuck.
Fen, it is like a
I'm
goddamn
so
roller
good at
coaster.
those.
As you are in the space and then leave the space and then enter the space 2 times worse, it is like you have to, like, if you had any breakfast in your stomach, you'd have to keep it down.
And it was Constitution?
Wisdom.
Oh, sorry, Wisdom. They're the same for me. Funny. It's a 17 total, actually, which isn't bad.
14.
Master 20.
Ooh.
All right. All of you you have to take a second. It's almost like you're winded and are like, okay, let me just focus in. But as you begin to acclimate, it's not exactly that you acclimate, but you're like, at least I can exist in this hostile environment. You don't know how long, but you can exist here. Is there anything we're doing at the top? Like the door has closed. You swallow bile. Is there anything else at the top? What are we doing?
I think
Elders-
Roshan
Oh, good.
looks at the tree, and like it takes him a couple seconds to realize that Nyx just went back and we kind of need her here, and just says, fuck. And then just kind of stares and wonders what to do for a hot minute.
Okay, so this is where Russ got to. Holy shit. Oh, he got far, apparently. I hate it here. Okay. Fen, can you tell how far maybe we've got from, you said Keld was elsewhere?
Yeah, we need to come back the way Russ, Nix, and I came, but I'm not really sure. I was up in the
Mhm.
trees.
Yeah.
So was Russ, and oh God, it sucks here.
Yeah.
Keld is out here somewhere.
Okay.
We were only running for a minute, but it felt like we were running very fast. And
Okay. Yeah.
I've got a general idea, I think, of the direction. If that's the tree, I think that we came through, but I'm not sure which way that one. It's not the same place that I went back
Yeah,
out.
I don't.
How does
doesn't
her
seem like it-
magic work? This is frustrating.
It would have been from a new tree, right? Because he'd probably taken off further in, like
Yeah, it's
keep
not the
on
one I
running.
went through. But
Have we got any way to contact Keld, Roshan, have you any more capacity to
Oh.
send or something?
Yeah, yeah. I'll I'll let him know. But if we want to get Nyx back, we can't leave. W-
It's unless someone can. Again, I'm not sure exactly how her magic works, but if somebody could very carefully describe a tree to her, does she have to have seen it? Is that? Do you
I
know?
think she can do vividly describe trees, but like you've got to get pretty specific.
I
We could just ask it its
don't.
name.
There's probably millions of trees here, and I don't think we can leave this one. Um, but I'll reach out to Keld, and Roshan will cast sending,
Mhm.
and he'll say, um, Nyx and Russ are safe. We can't leave this place. I have Nyx's ring. Can you come find us? And that's it.
Okay.
And then
Keld, you
he'll
are currently. Oh, yeah.
put the ring on and attune to it.
Okay.
Um, Keld, you receive this message while you are still putting on your armor. Do you have a
Nyx is ring.
response?
Hild will respond. I'm glad they're safe. I hope you stay safe. I can come find you.
And then Roshan will tell the other two. Held sounded confident in being able to find us. So I think we wait until he gets here. Um, no looking into the woods.
Yeah, definitely not. Definitely not.
And I think Roshan will just sit down on the roots of the tree that Nyx went into, and I think he'll start humming a little tune, and just keep it going for as long as he can, and use the counter charm class feature to try and ward off some of the scariness of the forest.
Yay!
I don't know if it's a frightening effect, but a soothing tune couldn't hurt out here in hell.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're in hell, you might as well whistle a tune.
Mm-hmm.
It's a healthy way to approach it, I think. Hopefully the magic whistle doesn't draw anything our way.
It's
DM.
not a whistle. It's a quiet little hum.
I see. Right. Fair.
Yes, Kyle?
Out of character question. Does Fen know the full capabilities of this short bow at this point? Or is that, did you just send that in the player chat and
No.
Okay.
He would have to be like, I know it does something else. Do the other thing. Like he'd have to shoot an arrow one more time with the intent of trying to figure it out. And then
Go gadget arrow.
he
Well, I
knows it
guess-
does something else, but he just does not have an idea of what it could be.
Okay, well, while we sit idly and wait for Keld to find us, he's got nothing better to do than to fiddle around with this thing, so maybe he'll figure it out at some point.
Sure. You all hunker down. Welcome to the skill challenge for hunkering down safely. Here's the thing, boys and goyles. Nothing's safe anymore. You have entered the woods. Nobody is keeping an eye out for safety. It is populated with things that want to kill you, including just vibes. You need to get 6 successes before 2 failures to avoid a problem with hunkering down. You know, this will keep you safe if you can acquire this. Also, I'm putting on the table the final effect of the boon you acquired. And you can tell me if you'd like to use it here, but you have to tell me at the top. Your boon is because 3 players accepted my deal. You can have 3 instances of getting to use advantage for this skill challenge. Or you could take the gamble that if maybe, I won't tell you if there is or not, that you want to save it for another skill challenge. This could be the last one in the woods, or it could not be. Or you could use it right now and be like, 3 of our rolls have advantage. I just need to know the consensus if it's being used for this one. It is a spicy challenge of 6 before 2.
It rather is. That's true. How are we feeling, y'all?
I feel like if 3 of us can get it, we can get 3 instances of advantage
With
to
3
make
of
this.
us
Yeah,
trying to make. I
I
feel
think this is when we take it.
it's not unappealing. What do you think, Josh?
That works for me. Roshan is still rolling at disadvantage, so
Ooh, yeah, let's get you on a level playing field then, bud. Let's do that.
Okay, so you are currently using the skill challenge to find ways to make yourselves safe in
Okay.
position.
All right.
Who's first? What are we doing?
Well, let me know if this works for our purposes, but one of the things we have to be very careful about is not looking into the woods too
Mhm.
deeply.
Mm-hmm.
And Fen has already expressed that he's going to distract himself with this bow that is new to him. I would like to use investigation and hope that my investigation of this bow and what its capabilities are will keep Fen from looking into the woods and like staring into the abyss, thus that the abyss does not stare back into him.
Yeah. This skill challenge is very much you could do something to make the area safe, or you could do something to keep yourself sane. This is the gambit. DC 20 investigation. Are you using
Ooh.
advantage?
Yeah, this would be a good one for Fen to use an advantage on.
You have advantage. That's one of your 3.
The higher of the 2 is a 22.
There you go. That's 1
Hell yeah.
success as you focus in on your bow, and
Trying not
you're
to
like,
throw up.
yeah. Your mouth just sort of keeps filling with saliva, and you're like, don't think about it too much. Don't think about it. And you just keep drawing this non-existent kind of magic string, and it just summons forth an arrow of magic. And you take a look at it, and you kind of like, and you're like right next to a tree, and you just kind of thunk, and you just sort of let it go, and it hits into the trunk that's right next to you. So it's not like there's an arrow whizzing through the air. And it is the intention of like, what else do you do? Can you help? What's going on here with you, fancy magic bow? And as it makes contact with the tree, you watch as the arrow itself begins to illuminate brightly with light, and remains that way until you kind of reach back for the string and kind of tug it again as a new magic arrow appears, and that arrow and light fade.
Did
That was quite bright.
did piercing the tree do that, or was it the arrow that did that? It can be very useful or also very dangerous.
I don't think let's test a lot of bright lights just now. Maybe when Kel
Maybe.
catches up, huh?
Oh, maybe when he's getting closer, we feel he is. If he needs to pinpoint to us, he's got the ring though. Couldn't necessarily need that, but bolts.
Let's hold off on it for now, but useful. Useful, I think. we'll see what we can use it for. I'm certain there will be a good time.
Who's
You
next?
well.
Thumbs up. You look
Um,
good.
Could Roshan do a performance to keep his humming going and keep us safe with good musical vibes?
Good vibes.
Sure.
Good vibes only.
Would you like to use your advantage for this to get a straight roll?
I think I should.
Okay. I am also,
for it.
because you are using an ability that you have, I'll be lowering the DC to 18.
Okay.
Hmm.
Oh my God.
Oh, buddy.
That's a 2 and a 2 and a 1.
Oh.
Wait, you used your advantage, right?
Well,
Oh,
you
well,
only
Yeah,
get to roll a
that's-
straight
just
roll.
straight roll,
So
that's
both
right.
of those
Yeah.
don't really
Yeah,
cut
no.
it.
Both of them are bad.
Oh, buddy. Oh,
That will be one failure.
oh God.
Roshan,
Okay.
as you are humming, what do you think makes him falter?
I think he probably is distracted, maybe something, a shifting of a tree or a bird alighting on a branch, catches his eye, and he looks at it and keeps humming, and the scariness of the wood just kind of makes him forget what he's doing, and uh, he goes quiet.
Okay. You need 5 successes before 1 failure. Nana, you're up.
Right. Okay. Well, as tempting as my plus 12 perception is, I don't think that's the smart play in this particular instance, in which
If you could
case,
find the right way to use it, yes. But if you can't, then you can't.
it's a good point. It's a good point. It's a good point. Okay. I think what I would want Nana to be perceiving is not necessarily the woods around her, but looking at Roshan and Fen and trying her best to focus in on herself and the two of them, figure out what we have, what state we're in, and what needs to be done in order to keep us safe. She's taking stock. She is being self-aware rather than outwardly aware.
Yoki. Are you using the advantage?
Plus 12. I'm going to take the gamble on this one and not use the advantage.
Okay.
If I can skate through, honestly, if I can't get with a plus 12 a DC 20 skill check, I don't think advantage is going to help me.
You just have to get an 8 or higher?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
It's an 18 on the dice plus 12.
You are able to take stock of the situation, take into account the lack of Roshan's hair, the lack of
Mhm.
singing that is now occurring, the mood of the place is devastation, but that can't be avoided. You take stock that Fen has a magical bow that you are pretty sure the arrow certainly made the light. When has this forest ever made light? This forest is bad. And you take stock of yourself and know that you are in the thick of it. But you're aware of all these things.
Yeah.
And, you'll take it.
Yeah. I'll take it. I'll take it, and I will breathe and just sort of continue to hunker down and look for an opportunity to try and help the other two.
Okay. So you need 4 successes before 1 failure. And once again, using abilities and spells that are like very topical and like actually do things do lower the DC some. Would not have done anything for that 2-in-1 scenario, but it's just a reminder. Everybody is back in play. Who's next?
I could go next.
Mhm.
I gotta go before we end this. So I think Roshan will if you'll allow me, use detect magic and then Arcana to try and understand what the magical influence of the hag is like on this area and see if there's anything he can do to counteract or stave off the ill effects of it.
Okay. Are you using the final advantage to get a straight roll?
No.
Okay.
Oh boy.
All right. Give me
Okay.
disadvantage.
I've got plus 15. So these both just have to be above. Oh, and it is a 5 and an 11.
Well, there you go.
Oh,
You
yes,
needed that 5.
yes. Yes. Oh yeah, dude. Woo. Oh,
I love it. I truly do. I am marking down your success. Don't get me wrong. Wisdom saving throw.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oops.
For peering into the hag.
Oh my God. I got a nat 1.
Oh, Ro! Oh, Ro! Oh,
Well,
bud.
what does it add up to? A 4? A 5?
Probably a 3.
Aw, okay.
I think.
Buddy,
Oh no, it is a 4.
is it?
Okay.
That might be enough to save you.
No.
Eh,
No, okay.
Go ahead and roll me a d6. And if you get a 6, roll again.
I got a 5.
Okay. Get out of my way. Okay. 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 You feel, and I will provide you information as we go. I will use this detecting magic moment as a way to acquire insight as you move forward and get advantage on rolls involving things related to the hag or the forest in and of itself. You will have much more. I may just be more giving, is the thing, where I'll be like, no roll necessary. This is what's going on. I will say at this moment, you can't. I'll say this, the DM cannot begin to fathom how you can avoid the effects of the woods. That does
Sure.
not mean it's impossible just because I can't think of it.
Okie dokie.
Nothing's impossible. But you're like,
Have to think about that.
yeah. It's as if it's almost as if it's in a different category outside of the books you've read, where the books outline magic and the categories. There is fear, there is, different types of things in those categories. And you're like, it's not fitting into fear. It's not fitting into this. It is not fitting into these magical effects. And then it's like, is it magic? And it is just something that you can begin to ponder if you are going to outdo the forest. but right now, not very sure. You need 3 successes before 1 failure. You still have 1 advantage left, I believe.
So Fern would like to make a straight roll. Roshan, the magic and the humming, and then my light arrow. There are things besides just the woods out here, as you're aware. We should probably not draw attention to ourselves. Let's try to keep as low a profile as possible. Were you here when we determined that it's probably magic that draws the big thing that comes stomping through the forest?
It's what?
That's a guess, but it seems to be a pretty good, reliable guess. So, and Fenn's trying to express ways to be stealthy to his party in this circumstance. And I would like to make a straight roll, sharing some of that wisdom, potential learned experience in how to keep oneself hidden in this particular environment.
So you're asking to make a stealth check.
Yes.
Okay.
Sharing
Give me a
knowledge of
stealth
the
check.
stealth variety.
DC 20.
Come on, bud. Come on, bud.
I have a plus 14 to that, and I just rolled a natural 1.
Oh,
That is 2 failures.
yeah.
And to start that off, everybody roll me a wisdom saving throw.
Okay. Oh, bud. Okay. Oh,
17.
wow. Yeah, 17 again.
22.
Okay.
Oh,
22, is that what you said?
Yeah.
thank God.
And I was looking at the wrong doodad. This page is a nightmare to behold. Give me your numbers
Oh.
again.
22.
Okay.
17.
17.
Okay. Okay. You feel so incredibly small in this moment. And Fen, just a little extra salt. You got to watch Nyx and Keld walk through this wood so unimpeded for days, and you can feel it eating you alive. And I think just as a ranger in general, it's an unappealing feeling. Just being like, I can't best these woods. I can't integrate myself. I am an invasive species that is being nipped immediately in the bud. Like it's an unpleasant feeling. And Roshan, you begin to feel just like this tickling in the back of your mind of something more. This is your first time being affected by the woods. And as you had stopped humming and you'd watched the trees shift around you, like just the strangeness of the space. Are the trees moving? Are they not? It is distracting. It is unnerving. It is making it difficult to know what to focus on. And currently this doesn't affect you too much, but you have disadvantage on perception checks, as you did anyways. So
He's
Can't
lying.
have double disadvantage.
so
So
take that.
yeah.
You see twisting
Ooh.
shadows occasionally out of the corner of your eye, but you're so tired. Fuck those shadows.
Yeah.
I don't give a
They
shit.
might be from your nightmare anyway. Who knows?
Okay. Each of you roll me a D4, and if you rolled a nat 1 at any point, roll me 2 D4s.
I don't think I have yet today, which is
Knock on
Better-
wood,
Yeah.
Mac.
no, I
A
know.
4 and a 2.
I got the same.
A 2 on mine.
Okay. Get rid of that amount of spell slots, please.
Oof.
Cool.
2 spell slots. Any one of them?
I don't care where you get rid of it from. You can choose. But get
Cool.
rid of that amount of spell slots.
All right.
As it is just draining being in the space. Anywho, as you all begin to digest in the belly of the woods, Held.
Yummy.
Held, it is just you. And you finish putting on your armor. You are now fully decked out in your armor. And you are alone in the woods, and the sounds of shouting and trampling underbrush have fully faded. You haven't heard that for, gosh, at least starting to now push on 10 minutes that you have not heard anything besides the forest. It's just you and the brushwood. Just you and the brushwood. There is, now that you are able to focus outwards and away from yourself as you are putting on this armor so you could take in stock, first you notice your camp, the bag of holding, and Nyx's just bag in general. Both of these things were left at camp, and because you've gone back, you are able to get both of them back. But as you are gathering yours and everyone else's belongings that got left behind, the energy in the space is beginning to veer on claustrophobic. You know your intent. Your intent is to go team up with the rest of the group, catch up, figure out what you're doing from there. And you feel surrounded. You are fully encompassed. It's as if the entirety of the brushwood has leaned forward just to focus on you, as if it leaned forward to tell you a secret. What do you do?
Good question. I know Keld is wanting to get a move on. It's going to take me some time to get through all of this beautiful foliage.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he'll stop for a minute, sort of just tilt his head and give the forest a second before he starts moving.
Okay. You stand prepared to move, but you engage with the forest. What you hear is not another voice speaking to you or something externally speaking to you. It's as if something in your mind, like an energy you are interpreting, like you feel something, and it feels like intent. It feels like words, and it is just how Keld is comprehending what he is being given. That the forest is asking you to trust it fully. The forest wants you to trust it completely. The forest will get you where you need to go. It'll let you see what you need to see. It will give you truth in exchange for trust. That is the offer the forest is giving at this time. It feels as if it is giving you an olive branch. What do you do?
I think Keld will sort of look at the ring, but then look up for which direction the forest is pointing.
Okay. Your eyes begin to veer for a moment. And before even getting a direction from the ring. You stop. And you trust the forest to lead you forward. And images begin to strobe through your mind. You see the forest as the first little seed planted in the ground by nature, the first beginnings of it, the sprouts erupting from the earth, from the soil. Nature is roiling to life around you at an incredible pace. Trees grow around you and stand like giants, and flowers bloom. Time passes and the brushwood ages around you at incredible speeds. And then trees fall and flowers wilt. Animals die and rot and change. The forest experiences all of this. It is a cycle. It is the cycle. The beginning to the end. Again and again and again. That is the experience of the forest, of the brushwood, of existence. To live and to die and everything in between, again and again and again. There is a moment where you can feel the ring on your hand, and there is a moment of, I think, gripping it, holding it, and you can feel, you know, that as the trees bow and bend around you in the corners of your eyes, as if you are looking through a glass, they are so warped and strange. You know that the forest would rave in its disapproval if you were to glance at this ring again. If you were to veer your eyes from the forests, there would be no going back. That would be a betrayal between the two of you, a betrayal of trust and truth. And you begin to feel your mind giving way. To follow the forest is to truly embrace it. And that includes whatever madness it brings. You can hold on to the world for a moment, but you know that is going to come to an end. You stand at the edge of the abyss that is the brushwood and what it promises. The promise is one step away, and so is whatever the effects of that are. Do you take that last step into the unknown?
Are you gonna have me put on armor for 10 minutes and ask me the hardest question of the fucking game?
Bitch, I've been putting armor on for 10 minutes. What the fuck? Yes, and?
I don't think that's what that means.
Does Keld fully embrace the forest, knowing what embracing the forest could mean? This is his last chance to turn back if he wants to. But this is his also final chance to accept.
I think he's just gonna accept.
Okay. Keld.
Lead the way, Forrest. Please don't
You
make me
take a
kill my
step.
sister.
If I swear to God, Forrest. Keld, you take a step forward into the darkness, into the unknown. And around you, like these dark, jagged roots erupt from the earth like teeth. You are surrounded by these gnarled root-like teeth, and dark shadows encompass you, and your mind tries to comprehend what you are being given in this moment. And all it can comprehend are these high-pitched screams of the woods. It's as if it's trying to communicate with you, and you are just so distant from whatever this is that you can't make out the words, and it is just screaming, the earth screaming to you. And from this toothy void that you stand in, before you two wide, white eyes open, large and on the horizon, immeasurable, the trees beneath it trim it like a skyline, and the earth gives way beneath you. And you shoot awake as if falling from a dream. The dim light from the spires illuminate your resting place as they had when you had woken up that morning before the hunt, before the chase. The forest looks as it did before. It is quiet, besides the natural sounds that normally encompass the place. Though you see, as you are sort of slouched against this tree and coming to, resting on your breastplate, is one of those palm-sized moths that you had encountered a while back. It has a gray and brownish coloration, and on its back it has the two white circles that look like eyes to intimidate predators, to think that it is something bigger than it is. And it just sits atop your armor, just seeming comfortable in its space. And as you stand and when you look to the forest, all you have to do currently is think of a destination and you can find it. But only if it is actively influenced by the brushwood. So you have this ability. Where to?
Would I know if something's influenced by the brushwood?
You could try thinking of it and trying to feel its location, and if you can't, then you could assume that it is not influenced.
I'm going to try to think of Roshan.
Okay. You think of Roshan, and you actually feel some hesitation from the forest. But then, you made a deal. You know where Roshan is.
I'll try to think of Nyx.
This time, you cannot find Nyx.
I'll think of the lurk.
You have a direction. And that one comes to you immediately. There is no hesitation from the forest giving you this direction. Where are you going, Keld?
I think Keld will head directly in that last location.
Gotcha. And Keld and Amoth begin to make their way towards the lurk. And that's where we're going to take a break. Thank you guys for being here. We appreciate it. Go get a snack and a drink, and we'll be back. And that's it. And then I'm going to do a really bad cut, and then we'll be back. It'll be great.
Wow.
Oh, we're back. Thank you for sticking around for the 2 seconds that break was. Welcome back. We're on the Backs of Gods, episode 175. We just took our 10-minute break. That was 2 seconds long. I hope you have a snack and a drink. Also with that snack and drink, I am now going to remind you of the content warning earlier. That's currently what this scene is going to be, involving self-harm. And if you watched the session before, you know how Russ was behaving and what he was talking about. Those are going to be the topics being addressed, more than likely. Because this is just going straight to YouTube, I will make it so that you are able to just fully jump this scene if so inclined. I will make little chapters for this moment if you wish to jump ahead. I promise. just stares deeply into the video editing void. Like, I'll do it. Anywho, Nyx, you can hear from inside the solo reflection room the sounds of Demwoods around you. And the thing is, you've been handling the woods quite well. But oh man, what a stark difference it is. Like, it is incredibly stressful what's going on and what's happening. But it is like having a rock lifted off of your chest. It is being able to think with a clear mind, even though the forest has not been able to get in. God, it's nice to be out of the woods for a second. And so far, you are locked into this room, barrels blocking the door as best they can. You do the math and you put the snail back in the middle, and you're like, okay, we did this pretty quick. So about 15 minutes have passed. And kind of after you go through that thought process, somewhere in the woods, the want for knowledge from Roshan is too great, and he casts Detect Magic. And the concentration on polymorph, as he is distracted, is dropped. And you don't know why. It hasn't been an hour, so you can only assume something happened. And the snail sort of, there's a magic glimmer that sort of whoop, whoop over it before it almost like melts in on itself for a second and then kind of explodes back into the space as Russ, much earlier than an hour. And he sort of kind of like pulls himself to his feet. He seems very confused. He looks incredibly lost. He has not noticed you yet.
Okay. I think she's just gonna watch for a second to see. Maybe a little bit of time out in the woods is good.
Yeah. And you
It's fine.
silently stand behind him and watch. And the smoke begins to billow out of his mouth and sort of like leans in your direction. And you watch Russ run full speed and slam his body into the door. And then he backs up and does it again. And you hear the crack of bone immediately.
Wait. Just kind of looking at smoke. I'm gonna try to stop him. I don't, whatever you are. I'm just gonna kind of talk at Russ's general direction for a hot minute. Yeah, a whole minute. We love that. You can't leave you have to stay in here. It's not gonna help you about you would have to have me with you anyway to do anything with her.
Go ahead and roll me persuasion. I'll give you advantage as Russ rams himself into the door again, and this time his face makes contact. He is not thinking of self-preservation in any way. Blood begins to spill out of his nose and his split lip, and you hear the sound of wood splinter a little bit on that third impact. As he hears you speak, what do you got?
Which one was it?
Persuasion?
Oh, they're all -1. 17.
Okay. On a 17, he stops and turns towards you, and you can see the smoke sort of like cradles his face and like as if it's encouraging the like, look this way.
Look at this
Look
one.
here. And he looks at you and his eyes are foggy and vacant, and blood is spilling down his face. And you can see the bruise starting to form under his collar, where you believe he probably just broke his collarbone.
Yeah. Just thinking, it's not gonna do anything if you go out there at this point. We just need to stay in town, out of the brushwood. Just stay here, and one of them will make a deal with her. It's fine. And I'll go back when they're there. They'll let me know. I can't today anyway. It's too far to get there today. It was days worth of travel, even with how fast you run.
They won't.
I think they will. They have the back. They can trade stuff. They will make some kind of deal with her for me. You don't have to do anything. You could just stay here.
I don't think they
Oh.
will. I know they won't. Because they're selfish. And they don't care about you. What have they done to care about you? Let me go. They won't do it.
You have to, like, hey, Keld has been here. Keld would do anything. He'll make sure
Keld
something
shouldn't
happens.
have to.
Neither
Keld
should
shouldn't have
you.
to.
And they're all out there. So we're gonna stay right here. You're going to stay in town, out of the brushwood. You're gonna trust me on this. I'm casting, however it's pronounced, geese, whatever this
Geese?
word is.
Geese.
I
Okay.
believe it is chaos, maybe, but
Chaos.
It's geese.
Like gay
Moving
chaos.
forward.
The geese
It's
spell?
geese from now on. What is your command with geese?
I don't know
For
how
this moment,
complicated that can be.
It's geese.
But for him to stay in town, not enter the brushwood, is like what I want. The main thing
Okay.
being
And the DC and the what am I rolling?
20.
Okay.
Wisdom, the thing that he should be bad at.
You should be bad at it.
and yet
So
I
that
will-
is an 18 on the dice.
I will do it twice. I have 2 spell slots I can use on this.
What's your passive insight?
20.
Okay. You cast it the first time and you see that it is not working as Russ like looks at you and there is no faith. He has no faith that these people are going to go into the woods and save you. And you watch as he begins and he turns towards the door again to ram it. You think in this moment, and you could be wrong, something is already there where this magic would be. And you can't fit 2 things. You can't charm a charmed man. Is the more
counter charm.
sorry, counter charm singing in the woods right now. And I'm not saying that I'm calling this like, like a magical charm thing, but it is blocking that you think. Whatever this is not allowing your charm effect. And
that is all she can do is try to do that again anyway, I think. Just would do it because what else did she have?
does she have? And she does it again. And Russ slams his body into the door again. It seems that he has done damage to this door. This door is taking a beating. Russ is probably taking the heftier beating. He is not attacking this door in a way that's like advantageous to him. He is just putting his full force against it, doesn't matter what hits it. As he slams into it, and you can see the smear of blood from his face against the wood as he stumbles backwards. And he turns and he like looks at you, and there is a softness in his face when he looks at you. And then he backs up. He is going to ram the door again.
Do I have an idea of how long this thing the ladle is setting up will take? Because she didn't have that long of setup time.
Yeah. I would say you two were talking. It takes her at least an hour to do.
Okay.
You do see though that like he's continuing and trying to take this door down. Each time he almost makes himself worse at it. As he steps back, and it is just once again the crunch of his body hitting against the door as he kind of stumbles away from it and like braces his hand against the wall. And as he turns to make room to do it again, he looks at you. Oh. He starts walking towards you.
Just wait.
He comes over and he wraps his arms around your shoulders. It's okay. It's okay. This is for you. And you deserve it.
I don't think it's okay. It's, if anything, it's making it worse.
You can see like he's like blinking and like trying to like focus, and he is bruised and bloodied, and he sort of kind of steps back a bit, and he has this like arms on his shoulders. You have to. You're too anxious. And he places a hand on your stomach. Quinn, you have to relax.
No, that I don't know who that is.
It's okay. Let me do this for you. For both of you. And sort of lingers his hand on your stomach before like pushing himself away. And he begins to walk the perimeter of the room, running his hands over the walls, feeling for cracks, feeling for places that are maybe a better way to try and exit than the door.
She's just gonna try to like grab his arm and pull him away from it.
Okay. Go ahead and roll strength with advantage. This is not because you are stronger, it's because of just who you are.
+0 over here, guys. All right. Hey, 15.
Russ is pulled towards you with a 14. And sort of kind of stumbles into you, and he's like, careful. Don't. And you just see he is like looking in the direction of where you know the brushwood is.
You just sit down for a bit. It's not going anywhere.
When we shouldn't have trusted them. That was my mistake. And you're going to suffer for that, so I should remedy that. My baggage. I don't want to hurt anyone anymore. But I'm going to. I don't know why they want me to hurt them. And I don't know why they keep hurting you. And I can't do it. I can't do it again. Not twice. I only can lose so much. So let me do this. Or it ends. You should sit down. You shouldn't exert yourself.
I'm not sitting down unless you do with me.
Roll persuasion with advantage. I will be rolling against this
I need to stop rolling this green die. It has
Mm.
opinions.
one.
But the next die has opposite opinions. So with my -1, it's a 19.
Okay.
Nat 20. Versus the nat 1 that the green die tried to go with.
Rude.
Russ takes a moment and looks at you, and you almost, for a moment, you think Russ is actually looking at you. Like there's a moment where he can hear you. And he sits down.
We'll sit with him. Just kind of probably with the one hand that works, hold his very tightly.
And he sort of leans into you and kind of stares at the door. I'm going to try to rest for as long as I can. And then I am going to rally against these bonds because you deserve it. And you can tell me no. But I can feel. I know that something's listening and is willing to listen to me. That somebody isn't going to shut me down and is going to hear my opinion and hear my deal, and they're going to take it. And it's going to mean something. And you see, like, kind of pushes the blood away from his face, and his fingers kind of get caught in the smoke, and you see, like, he takes it in for a second and, like, is like, and then tries to, like, sort of swat it away and, like, puts his other hand back down. Do you really think that they would truly give up something worth something as amazing as you?
I think so. I don't know if all of them would, but at least one. They have that gift from your boss with them. That'll count for something.
And you watch his face drop. That's right. He was so willing to help, Nix. And they look me in the fucking face, Nix. They look me in the face and speak to me like a child, that I should be content with his murder. And they watch me from afar now with forlorn looks and quiet. Nix, I'm going to have to kill them. And I'll do it. I'll do it. I don't know why they want me to.
I don't think they want that. They just I don't know. They haven't said anything to me either.
They don't care about us. Is Kel's out there with them?
He's out. I don't know if he's with them, but he's out there.
And let Kel fall on his own fucking sword. Kel would give anything. Couldn't see it in his fucking eyes.
It's kind of our fault that he's alone. Because we went off without him.
I should go get him then. That was a mistake. He shouldn't be out there.
I'm sure I will ask them where he is when they reach out to me next. I'll make sure he's okay.
He's
I gave them,
safe.
yeah, I gave them, we have these rings that tell where each other are, and I made sure that they had it so they could find him. So we don't have to worry.
Really? Right. And you watch him kind of that. It felt like there was some rust there. And you kind of watch that slowly deteriorate. And he keeps sort of absent-mindedly reaching out and like touching your stomach. I'm going to try again. For a bit.
I think we could wait. Just gonna fully move on to this man's lap so he cannot stand up.
All right, I'm going to give him a disadvantage strength because I think it's just not the easiest state to stand up in, to be fair.
That he has broken bones.
That's true. He does currently have, most of them are on like the top part, but
Right. So this is all leg strength.
so he
Yeah.
stands up holding you. And you can see you can almost hear the wheels turning.
Mhm.
Huh. You have to let go.
Not going to.
What will you do when they come to Sindri's door? And I have to lay them out to Tan.
I'm on your side. I have no reason not to be.
Are you able to open the door?
Not at the moment. Like I could leave. I don't think I could actually pick up any of the things blocking the door right now.
Oh. We should get back out there as soon as we can so I can
Right.
I can make that deal for you.
I could get us back there tomorrow. If we're both ready. I don't think it'd be smart for me to be back out there today.
Nyx, go ahead and give me for this moment. This is going to be the last persuasion check. You have advantage. I'll be
Okay.
rolling against you.
Not that green dot. Okay. Okay. You know, they are both a 17 on the die, so 16.
Give me athletics, please.
Yeah, of course. With my +0 here, you got it. Okay. 14.
Russ is currently, shockingly, surprisingly, very unable to remove you from his body. The way you have like one arm kind of caught, and that
Mhm.
seems to be a very injured arm at this point.
Mm.
And he is not willing to do something at this time that will hurt you. Because you think if he wanted to, he could fully remove you from his person. But that would involve hurting you. He can't figure out a way to remove you without injuring you, and seems like he won't do that. And relents in the sense of sort of when a caged animal realizes it's like, I can't
Mhm.
get out this way. And just begins to pace and circle and walk the room, looking for some magical opening, some way he missed, looking for something to get out of here as he walks and paces and murmurs under his breath, and occasionally slips into discussing with himself deals he would make. And every single deal he would make is a life for a life, every single time. There is no withholding. There is no esoteric fancy hag talk. It is a full trade. And he walks with you and occasionally talks to you, continues to refer to you as Nyx and also as Quinn, and just continues to move through the space. And occasionally he'll stop and he will try to dig his fingers into the space between like two panes of wood and just, well, he deserves to roll. He's a big strong boy. Let him roll to see if he can. Jesus Christ. You think if he is able to get his fingers around like any portion of this board that he is trying to like get his hand through, you think it is possible he could remove it from the space that it is, that he will push against the nails with like one arm and his body weight. But he seems to be struggling to get his fingers in, and it would cause a lot of damage to do so, but that is not a concern for him. So he's actively trying to weasel his fingers into the crevice between two panes of wood. You think this will take him some time, what he's currently doing?
Great.
It's not an immediate get out of reflection room free card. But you think feasible as long as he is able to like fit like the tips of his fingers into this space and like chip away at the wood with his nails.
I think at this point she just kind of is waiting out the hour. And
Mhm.
is when she thinks it's an hour is going to suck up the courage to leave so that
Okay.
it can be warded and make him stay in there.
How do you leave?
Like one of those moments where he's just stopped messing with the wood, she would like, give him a quick squeeze. And I'll be back. Um, I'll be right outside. And gaseous form and leaves. It takes 6 seconds. It's an action to do gaseous form. So unlike the really long one to turn into the wind with everyone.
Yeah. Gaseous form, you are a much slower moving
Mhm.
entity, but it's not a big space. And you, followed by your spores, exit through this crack in the paneling, and you can see that the grand pot and the ladle including the hot iron. A couple other people who are like keeping a respectful distance, but like there are definitely people like being like, what's going on? Why are there so many barrels around the solo reflection room? But as you come through and then shift back into a more Nyx looking form, they both sort of like look to you.
Like she'll just kind of gesture at her mom. We need to get the ward up. Make sure he
Okay.
stays in there.
All right. And you look down at the ground and you can see it's not like a drawing with chalk or
Mhm.
it's just the grass is green and shows through the snow in these runes, as if each blade of grass was painstakingly planted or coerced into position. And she leans down and she gives a gentle whisper to one more blade of grass that shifts into place, and there is a gentle flash of green. And she stands up and like kind of brushes her fingers through your hair and kind of, stops at the pieces of ice and kind of picks at it a little and kind of gives you a small smile as Russ begins to scream and rallies. And the sound of his body constantly slamming against the walls and the door over and over again. And your mother wraps an arm around you. Come on, let's go inside, okay? And you can see the grandpa is just staring at the solo reflection room. As a few people have probably experienced the what could have been. And he is somebody who can feel that as well. The what could have been. As you are taken away by your mother, who leads you inside and begins to make tea and sets out the breakfast that never was, as things had taken a turn quite early. Meanwhile, Roshan, Nana, and Fen. 5 minutes. 15 minutes. 30 minutes. Is there any point that you would, Roshan, be like, I'll check in on Keld again? Or is it like, what's your time limit? I mean, you can't hear him. And you just don't know how
Can
far the distance is between.
Yeah, can he sense that he's moving? And does it feel like he's moving toward or away?
How are you sensing this?
Uh, does the ring work? I don't know what the ring does.
Okay, so the ring points in the direction of the other ring.
Okay, yeah. So I think he would concentrate on that and
Mhm.
uh yeah, he doesn't think it would like move very much if Keld was coming straight for them.
Yeah.
So yeah, what's it doing? I think he'd
Uh,
he'd probably try and observe that for I don't know, 30 minutes before making any kind of decision.
okay. You take the time after a while of being like, all right, let me check in and focus to see if there's any variation in the movement of the arrow on the ring. And at the 30-minute mark, you're like, okay, 30 more minutes if it seems strange, I'll do something. And you go down and you look at it. And I will say, Fenn's still a ranger, even if this woods is terrible. He ran in a direction. There is some sun to use, not the most helpful, but he can at least give you a vague direction of where they came from. He's like, hey, it's probably somewhere in this arm span, probably somewhere here. I don't know how much, Russ veered, but my guesstimation is this. And you kind of almost like, when you instinctually are like that direction. So you kind of point with your hand and look at the ring. And the arrow is pointing at you.
So it seems
Behind?
somehow Keld has gone behind or past us somehow.
That's possible.
Huh.
Then I think he would say to Fen and Nana, I'm not sure if this thing is working.
What do you mean?
I think it says Keld is in this other direction, but doesn't make sense. I think
Unless he went on ahead, just drop the extra weight,
I'll keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
And then I think he'll wait for another half hour to see
Okay.
if anything changes.
You watch the ring and there's kind of the occasional twitch and fidget of direction. It remains pointing in a direction past you, per se.
Then I think he'll reach out to, oh gosh, I think probably Keld first.
Mm-hmm.
And say, were you going to come to us? You've seemed to gone in another direction. We can't leave here without your sister. What should we?
What should we?
Do.
Keld, you receive this message laced with another message. That same energy interpretation, not words, but it does kind of try to lay over Roshan's message of trust, of focus, of I am telling you the way you have to go. I am giving you the answer. You have to trust me. Don't betray me now. You can respond.
I can respond.
Yeah, you can tell that Roshan is trying to tell you things, and you heard most of what he said.
Hmm.
But it was also somebody else like kind of talking at the same time, like, hey, we just had a whole trust thing that we just did.
Well, if I'm able, I will relay what I'm doing. Held will respond with, I'm going on ahead. Please get to Nyx and keep her safe. I hope Russ is okay. I have to keep moving.
Roshan, you receive this message, also with its own extra message included.
Well, fun.
It's best you listen. And it is Keld's voice, not his tone. And it is kind of overlaying on top of Keld's
Spooky.
message.
Don't like
Stay
that.
still. Stay safe. Don't forfeit that.
Forrest is like, nobody move.
Three-way standoff with everybody in the forest.
With a tree on either side.
I think Roshan will say, so he only heard what the forest wanted him to hear, right?
You heard both. You heard
Okay.
both messages. So some of them probably got like a little warbly, but you got the idea of both. And they're both kind
Okay.
of in the same ballpark of thought.
Yeah. Roshan will say, damn it. Keld has gone on ahead.
Alone? Like, just,
No.
okay, wow.
He's I think he
You think
with
he's
the
been
forest
influenced?
now. But the forest is a part of him. It sounded like him, but not all of it. Keld's still there, but there's something else too. I think it's either the forest or the lurk, and whatever it is wants us to stay here.
Oh, good.
And I'm not inclined to say no because I don't know. I feel like I want to trust it because Keld seemed okay. Keld wanted us to make sure that Nyx was okay. And so maybe we wait until she's back.
Okay, I guess. So we just camp here. We just wait. in the middle of the woods.
Get comfortable.
Sure. All right. Yep. That's all my life's come down to. That's fine. I guess Nana's just gonna sit down and try to find something to occupy her thoughts besides her thoughts. And the woods.
One of us should go for Keld.
And
I
do what?
No.
Exactly. Come on, Fen. Alone? Are you insane?
No, I'm lost and desperate.
Yeah, all of
And
us are.
We're And when Nix opens that tree that we can't leave, I want the two of you to jump right back through it and go someplace safe. We're
Yeah,
going
and we're
to
taking
Sorry,
you with us.
Fen, that's stupid.
we're going to
No.
die
No.
out here. Do you understand that? That
Then we'll die together.
this can't do that without breaking promises.
Fen,
Promise Nix that we would fix her illness.
and we will.
Promise
Okay? Like,
promised
at this point,
Roshan, I promised you that we'd find your sister. I promised Ave that we wouldn't stop pursuing his goals. No, I promised you I'd always be beside you. What? We can't keep all of these promises.
we haven't been for a while, okay? So let's just put that down
We're going to
and
die
deal with
here.
it. No, we're
going-
not! Damn it, Fen! I need you to stop talking like that! Stop it, okay? Please! I'm not losing anybody else out in these woods. I'm not losing anybody else out in the wilderness
Nana.
again! I'm not.
Nana. We cannot do that. The forest will eat us alive if we eat ourselves alive. Roshan will hold up his worry stone and say, focus on remaining yourself. No one is dying here. We are not in any danger. The forest told us to stay here, and we will.
We don't belong here. These are not our woods. Why are we here? We're invaders in the same way that a hag would be if it walked into Glenda. We don't belong here, and these woods are going to eat us alive. I don't want to lose any of my friends. I don't want to lose you, or Keld, or Nix.
I know, Fen. None of us.
I don't see how we can sit here and do nothing. I don't see how we can keep all of our promises.
Fen, for right now, I think all we
that
can
this
do
is a very
try to
bad place to
survive.
have come.
I don't disagree. Okay,
I don't.
this is
We made agreements to come here, and we can't stop
know.
doing that now.
I know that. And we can't leave this tree because Nix has got to come back through this tree. And we can't move from here to go after Keld because for right now, as far as we're concerned, Keld's basically a hostage. Either of the forest or the lurk. That's going to
Then
work
we
out
need to-
however it's going to work out for right now, Fen, because Nix is going to come back through this tree eventually when she's ready. Hopefully Russ will be ready to come back through with her. That would be great. But if he's not, Nix alone, fantastic. Nix and Keld have been tanking this place while we have been eating dirt. So I think that of all of us, it's best to let the two of them handle all this shit, and the three of us shut up for a while and just breathe and wait to be
Duh.
useful.
Dirt is better than fire, and if we fall, we end up in the dirt or we end up in the fire. And this is one place that I think we could probably fall and stay in the dirt and not rise again as something worse. And if we did, then this place would take us back down.
Yeah.
I think this is a place we could fall nobly and not have to worry about coming back and hurting the people that we love. I don't think we should let Keld wander off by himself into what?
Has
We
Keld
saw what this place
been-
did to Russ. Is this?
I know.
He-
To Russ inside of a day.
I haven't seen
know.
Keld in 10 times as long as it's been since I've seen Russ. We ran past and we left him,
So,
and he's
How
gone
has-
now.
yeah, I know.
And do you want to disrespect his wishes? Do you want
Do-
to not stay and wait for his sister? Do you want to disregard the forest's wishes? What do you want, Fen?
This isn't my forest. I want my friends to be okay. This is what I want.
For right now, I think, Fen, the best
I-
way we can make that happen is just to wait. For right now. Wait and find the moment. Find the right act. Find the right solution. It's not coming up right now. We don't have it. We're here in the woods. We're exhausted already. It's been minutes, Roshan and I have been, well, about an hour or so now, that Roshan and I have been back here. And it's rough. And you've been in here all this time, and that's also rough. We're not doing great. So I don't think any of us would be of much use running headlong through the woods, trying to navigate our way and getting worse as we go. We won't be any help to Keld or to Nyx.
I
So
don't
for
think
right now,
I don't think you should go any further. I think you and
Well,
Roshan
you
should
do.
stay right here, like Keld asked, like Nyx
and I think
requires
that
you.
you should please, Fen, listen to your friends. Trust us for a change. Please.
Fen, in this moment, you know, without a shadow of a doubt, you are changing no one's mind. Roshan, while this is happening, you felt it like a tingle on the back of your neck. And then like a flash of fire when Nana aggressively responded, of defending a point, of standing up and holding her ground. It's as if something is trying to peel itself off of you. Fire trying to pull itself away from your body, and you can see where the shadow of your legs rest against the base of the tree. Hands, long and slender, try to pull themselves out, moving like heat. The shadow, only part of it, trying to move forward and away from where you are sitting, trying to move towards Nana. And it just rakes itself over the coals, the dirt, before it kneels in front of her. And Roshan, you can feel the entities still with you. One of them moving forward and staring at Nana as her and Fen go back and forth, and she holds her point. And this entity sits on its knees before her and roils with heat. There is
Oh, as it does, I think Roshan will reach out mentally and ask, What is it you want with her?
And the shadow straightens up, head lolling to the side. And it glows a faint red around it. Moving flame. As it turns back to you. I just want to help. And that's where we're going to stop for tonight. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. We love telling you guys a story. The woods are a dark and terrible place, and everyone is doing their best. From people to shadow entities to a moth, everyone is doing their best. If you'd like to get more of this story about how we came to these woods and why we're here and why nobody's going to go back through that tree unless they are,
All together or
Russ,
dead.
unless you get snailed, then
Yeah.
then you don't get a choice, I guess. If you get snailed, you got to go through the tree.
That's
You
the
can
rules.
You can hang out with us on youtube.com/The Dice Cult and watch past episodes of On the Backs of Gods, including other D&D games, Vampire the Masquerade, one-shots, discussions, and what have you. If you want to keep up with us, we are at Backs of Gods on Instagram and Twitter. If you want to keep up with all of us, we are at Backs of Gods on Instagram and Twitter. If you want to go down to the box below, you can follow the link to get some beautiful dice that like to tell a story and
Do they ever?
make Russ roll never above a 3 on strength against Nyx, but crit all day against this dumb little shack.
Why?
I don't know why.
Madman.
I don't know why his dice decreed, Nyx, you're cool. Let me just ruin this shit, I guess. But thank you all
They
for
decree
being here.
violence.
The dice know what they like. If you're looking for a story, boy howdy. Thank you for being here. We appreciate it. We love telling you guys a story. We will be over on Discord, same time, same place, Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we will see you guys next time. Good night, everybody.
Thanks for joining us, cultists.